Kartell is a company like no other, a combination of architectural accents, fashion-forward beauty, and occasional whimsy, and that's Kartell. With a DNA in ongoing research and working with some of the greatest designers in the world, its North American CEO, James Jenkin, better known as JJJ, will explore how to be original while looking at new materials and new solutions. He will also take you through the decades of Kartell, showing you designs that you know and love and those you'll discover. If you follow him on Instagram, you know his motto is enjoy, design, contamination. It is with great joy that we present JJJ.
Grazie, Beth. So first of all, buongiorno. Thank you, everybody, to joining this session. So besides having a super English name, I'm Italian, as you can hear from my funny accent. So I was raised by a British father, Italian mom, but in Italy. So I consider myself Italian. Okay, that's it with my, and just a brief, so I'm in design business since many years. I consider myself very lucky because I was able to work from some of the most interesting companies in the design industry. I work for Luceplan, for Scarini, and now since almost 10 years, I'm running Kartell US, which is absolutely a unique company from not only from the history, but also for what we are doing now. So let's start the presentation, okay? So this is Anna Castelli Ferriero. Anna Castelli Ferrieri was the husband, was the wife of Engineer Castelli. So they were a young couple. He was an engineer. She was an architect. And especially when I have an audience of young students like you, I always underline the year that these two kids founded Kartell. So we are talking about Milano in 1949, so 40 years after the end of the Second World War. So fortunately, we all have to imagine a country destroyed by the side effects of a war, Italy, Europe. So 40 years after the end of the war, these two kids had this vision of creating an industrial design company. So he knew how to use plastic because he was a chemical engineer, and she was a very talented architect. Also here, it's important to underline that Anna Castelli has been the first woman to become an architect in Italy, followed by, I think, 3 months by Guy Aulenti, another worldwide famous architect. So, but Anna has always been the backbone of the company. She had the vision. And this is a very nice picture. She was a lady with a strong personality and a super heavy smoker. I mean, she used to smoke like a chimney, but she was very smart. And so if we can go to the next slide.
Claudio Luti, with his daughter Lorenza and his son Federico, are the picture of a contemporary world based on a past that began in 1949. It was Giulio Castelli, a chemical engineer from Milan, who studied under the Nobel Prize winner Giulio Natta at the Politecnico, who anticipated that plastic, or rather polypropylene, would revolutionize the Italian homes. He and his wife Anna Castelli Ferrieri, a young architect and intellectual from Milan who worked with the studios of Franco Albini and Ignazio Gardella, redesigned Italian daily life in 10 years. Kartell has won 4 Compasso d'Oro awards for a round pail, a tub, a lemon juicer and a dish rack. It was a colorful revolution that promised an easier life.
Okay, so this video, I mean, this short video gives you an idea of, and I particularly love this video because it gives you an idea of Anna's vision. Because you're studying or you're already an interior designer, you will be a professional, and it's something that I always underline, I'm not a creative person, okay? I just run the company. But I'm lucky because I work with a lot of creative person, and it's always important and it's interesting when you see that a designer has a vision. So it's not just presenting as another product. There is something behind the product. And Anna Castelli was, for example, if you think about this, this is a dustpan, okay? Now, this dustpan has been designed in the 50s. Before this dustpan, women, they had to I don't know, so the position was very uncomfortable to clean the floors. So all the juice, the buckets. So she always thought of how to make, especially women's life, easier. So that's why the idea was not only practical object, but object industrialized in a way that they were affordable. And so this for me is a very interesting. It's part also of the Kartell vision, especially in the 50s. And they were experimenting all these different materials. Some of these materials now they are no longer in production; they have been replaced. But they tested the BS, bakelite, whatever was available on the market. They were constantly searching for new solutions. Okay, also here, for example, a dish rack, okay? Also imagine, especially in Italy, okay? So the majority of the apartments, or in Europe, the majority of apartments were small apartments. The dish usually they were placed, I remember my grandmother's house, the dishes were, there was a pile in the sink, or my grandmother or the women of the house, not the men's, they had to clean them and dry them, okay? So with this simply object, women, they were free to wash the dishes and place them on the rack, and then they will get dry. Here we have another object. So because in Italy in the 50s, around just before the 60s, there was another big introduction, the fridge. Okay, now what you put in the fridge, you cannot put just products or food in the fridge. So she thought about containers where you could put salad, tomatoes, or whatever. Now imagine what Tupperware did on top of this idea. Okay, so but Anna was really a visionary. Next. Okay, orange, also here an orange squeezer, because also here we have, so food was starting to be more affordable, and orange in the 50s and the 60s, they were considered pretty fancy food. Okay, they weren't available everywhere. The market distribution still, the supermarkets weren't that popular, but so to cut, to chop, to squeeze healthy food. So she was starting to be present in the Italians' daily life, in Italians and Europeans, because since the beginning, Kartell, I would say, we always had a very international wide distribution. Okay, so since the beginning, Kartell products were available all over Europe. We arrived in America very late, but in Europe, since the beginning, there was a network of distributors. And on the next one, there is another, I think is the next slide, there's an interesting, okay, the one on the left, so I don't even know how you say in English, but this product, of course, for kids, very small kids, is very interesting. Why I like it? Because it's the first time that the packaging is a box, it's a gift. So she was able to transform a pretty daily use product with no glamour, but having this the duck head and especially the packaging. This became a gift for a newborn. Okay, so you might say, but this so contextualized. We're talking about 55, 56, something like that. This was an incredible concept. And on your right, something more easy. It's I think it's for the salad to squeeze the salad or wash the drainer for the salad. So what's next? Okay, this is I consider somehow the Anna Castelli masterpiece. The name of this product is Componibili, designed in 1969. Till now, so 2021, is one of our top sellers worldwide. It's part of the MoMA collection. The museum is part of many museum collection. Besides, it's a top seller, which is something that we always like when we have a wonderful product that generates also big numbers. And what is interesting, and this also allows me to talk about also our constant research, so this constant movement of searching for new solution. So this product in the last 3-4 years, yes, 3 years, is living a sort of new renaissance, because we decide to test on Componibili a new material. So there is the classic production, and now we put in production 3 years ago a Componibili, which we named Bio Componibili. Why bio? Because we are testing this new material, which is the result of agricultural waste. Then through a biological process and a natural synthesis, this raised up to a masses that has the same characteristic as plastic. Now, there are two extremely important benefits in using this biomaterial. First, they are 100% biodegradable. So if for any reason you throw, and you shouldn't, but you throw one of these Componibili in the ocean, it will dissolve. Not overnight, of course, it will take years, but it will dissolve, leaving no trace, no pollution. And this is very important for the environment, because this is another important aspect, the way our business is changing, that being eco-friendly is a big part of the conversation, and especially when we interact with the designer, it's important that you have to know what's available. So as a designer, it's fundamental that you must have in your career, you must have knowledge of the technology that are available, because from the technology plus a vision, then you're able to design incredible products. Next. Also, this is a very nice, I think they've been designed by Joe Stoppino. So this is the first chair in the world, okay, designed and produced for kids. So it's a chair that was used in the kindergarten around the 70s, okay? So two interesting aspects, and the other one is from Danuso. Two interesting aspects. First, that well, kids were part of the conversation. So we start with the portable toilet, and now with the chairs, okay? So the family, the kids were part of the conversation, and we were making chairs that were easy to move around, easy for the kids to move around, comfortable to sit. Then from a technical point of view, it's interesting that here the chairs, I don't know if you can see, there is a cut on the legs. So the technology wasn't ready yet. So all the chairs, they were assembled. So there was the seat and the legs, okay? There was no way to make one chair out of the wall, which was one of the other big, let's say, aesthetic revolution introduced by Kartell in the 80s. So on the next one, I think we have another. Okay, so here, so we at one point also in the 80s, also here. So because it's a family, so you cannot. So the family is linked to the company. Okay, so you cannot. So in the 80s, as you can imagine, Anna Castelli and their husband, they were old and good for them, also rich. So they were tired. Let's put it in this way. So the company was starting to lose a little of energy. Let's put it in this way. So in the 80s, let's see what's the next slide. Okay, so these were the last product authorized. Not, I wouldn't say authorized, but Anna was also the art director of the company. So this was the last production, and this also here so we were starting to experiment the shape of the chair and another thing that you should pay attention, the colors. So in all the products that you have seen until now, all the colors were pretty solid colors, red, yellow, black, white, but solid, okay? No shades, nothing. And pieces. So also here in this chair, there are 4 legs and 1 seat to be put it together. That's still Anna Kartell. This was, with this chair, we won the Compasso d'Oro. Because a few characteristics of the chair. First, was a chair super light, not like the Leggerissima, or Piuma, but a very light chair and stackable. Okay, so they were also starting to think about the hospitality, restoration, how to move the products, how to for office or situation where you need a stackable chair. So this was a smart way to save space. Stack as many chairs as possible and easy to move around. And this, I think, this was one of the last Compasso d'Oro won while Anna was still running the company. Then on the next slide, okay, so in the 90s there was a big shift in the company. Okay, so our actual president, Mr. Claudio Lutti, he bought the company from the Castelli family. Even though he married their daughter, because he was already part of the conversation, let's say, but he bought the company because when he bought the company, was already a very famous and successful businessman. So he bought the company from his parents-in-law. And this is, he was able to fully understand the values of Kartell. So he bought the company in 84, I think, 84, 85. He bought the company, and Kartell was starting to be a sleeping beauty. So he bought the company, bring new energy, keeping the same vision for research, innovation, for changing the rules, okay? Because really, Kartell, since the beginning of the history, we always been able to change the rules. I'm talking about from an aesthetic point of view, but also from a distribution point of view. So here in the 90s, Mr. Lutti, he started to collaborate with new designers. Back in the days, they were very young designers, people like Philip Stark. So this chair, the one on my right, the white and the black, is the first project done by Philip Stark for Kartell. Now, this project is extremely interesting because it's the first time that a company was experimenting different materials from an industrial point of view. So here we have, there is an aluminum frame and plywood or aluminum frame and plastic. So there are different characteristics. Aluminum is completely different from wood. Aluminum is completely different from plastic. So at the time, it took a lot of research. On the left, the other chair is a masterpiece by Antonio Citerio. Also, this the Antonio Citerio chair is still in production, and the beauty of this chair is that the seat is the structure. So, I mean, if you cut this chair, you will see that there are sort of bones inside that keep the shape and the structure of the chair, and at the same time is very light, flexible. And this is because of the plastic material, the nature of the plastic material, but also the molding technique that Kartell was able to develop in order to achieve these results. Next. Okay, so also here, also this is a Antonio Citerio project. And let's start to talk about colors. Okay, so this was a new idea of approaching the office. So the offices have been, especially in those days, they were pretty boring. White, gray, maybe black, using a lot of wood and metal, but pretty boring environment. So Kartell, the idea of Kartell, the vision of Kartell was to introduce color, to introduce a joyful touch, even in your working place. Nowadays we are, nowadays, but yes, in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, there's a deep conversation on the environment where we work. But in the 90s, the sensibility was completely different. You go to your place, you like it or not, you stay there 8 hours, end of the conversation, okay? So there was no conversation about do you like your office or not? So Kartell started this conversation, introducing this, and there was a big collection, okay? So not only drawers, there were desks, that funny, the one on the back is for the photocopy or the fax machine. Okay, so we're talking about really history here. And something that is also interesting, we start to work on the translucent color. So these are not flat green, flat red, or white. So there is, we are starting to introduce the translucent transparency, which was a huge aesthetic revolution by Kartell. Next. Okay, also here, everyday objects. So here we have on the left, my left, on the wall, there is a bookworm. Bookworm, it's an incredible product designed by an incredible designer, Ron Harand. He's an Israeli designer. And with bookworm, if you think about, so bookworm is a bookshelf, okay? So he reinvented an existing product. So until before, the bookshelf, the classic bookshelf was horizontal, you put your books, end of the conversation. Probably made of wood, different kind of wood, but that was the bookshelf. So Ron Harand and Kartell, they reinvented the concept of bookshelf. So the bookshelf became a decoration object. And this is something that I always find fascinating in this business, when you see products that they are really reinvented without using their purpose, because it's still a bookshelf, but he was able to add something else. And also here was a combination of the material. In this case, the bookworm is made of aluminum, and the divider are made of plastic. Okay, so here we were playing with the flexibility of aluminum, because this will be impossible to obtain this with the aluminum. For example, the same designer, he designed this one. This one is also a bookshelf designed by Ron Harand. But in this case, since it's plastic, it's a rigid structure. So it's fine, it's funny, it's nice, but somehow it didn't really stretch the concept. With bookworm, he really stretched the concept of the bookshelf. On the right, that gold lamp is another masterpiece of Kartell, still one of our best sellers, designed by Ferruccio Laviani. Why this product is interesting? Because this product is the iconic lamp. This is the reinterpretation of one of the most classic lamps in the world. So the origin of this lamp is the French abat-jour. In the 17th, 18th century, when still there were candles, the rich family, they had this abat-jour, this lamp, where the inside was gold and outside usually they were black. So place the candles and the steam probably was made of wood. So the light effect was very, very nice. Okay. So anyway, Ferruccio, starting from this vision, from this super classic object, he was able to create a contemporary light using contemporary material, but with a classic touch, because in our mind, the moment you see that, okay, of course, that's a lamp, but there's the touch. Okay, in this case, we have the gold finishing, but the original one, the first, was made of transparent polycarbonate, and still is in production. Now we are using new materials, LED lamps, LED bulbs. But the beauty, as I said, is that this synthesis of an iconic product from the past transfer to the modern age, to nowadays. Next. Also here, this is a Citerio project. So in this case, I mean, these are two funny names. This one is Battista, and the other one is Gastone. But also here, so we were experimenting the flexibility of how to use plastic in a way that you can collapse the structure. So you can use you need a tray. So you open, you have a serving tray. You no longer need it. You collapse it, and you save space. Because already there in the 90s, we start to have a conversation that smaller apartments, less space, but still you need the comfort or the beauty to, you have a balcony, you want to bring some, the dinner outside in your balcony. So going back to Anna, in Kartell, we never lost the vision of putting in production products in order to make people's life easier or more enjoyable. So we never put in production something because it's nice, okay? No, there is always a project behind our products. Next, please. Kartell today. This is easy. Next. Okay, so where are we now? So now Kartell is still run by the family. So we are in a very solid position, and like in the 50s, we are super focused on finding new solutions. So we are constantly in evolution, experimentation, research, and try to change the aesthetic parameters. And in talking about research, so as I said, I started with the componibly. The research now is a big component of our entire process. So the constant conversation we have with our interior designer, with our with all the creative people that they're around us, is so we don't need another chair. Okay, so why we put in production this chair? This chair, for example, is a Philips Stark project. And this is another very interesting project because we are starting to experiment. So we're using, in Kartell, we don't use recycled plastic, okay? We use leftover waste from industrial process. And the difference is huge because when you use waste from an industrial process, basically the material, the raw material is ready to be used and recycled to make, for example, from an automotive, you make a chair, okay? So you don't need to add chemicals, you don't need to clean. So it's the perfect cycle of the recycling cycle. Plus this chair, we are experimenting a sort of software. In fact, the name is AI, artificial intelligence. And this chair has been designed by Philips Stark and a software that we are developing, a sort of CAD software where you can have a conversation with the machine without making any drawings, just talking, a sort of Siri. So you talk to the machine, and this is the result. This was a 4 to 5 years experimentation. It didn't happen overnight. And the main inputs were so the chair has to be comfortable and use less energy, okay? So less energy. And these are the shapes, okay? So these are the shape of the chair. So to improve how to save energy. Boom, next. Okay, also here, so just a quick, so the smart wood. So in terms of the research, we, as Kartell, we are investing in new materials, plastic materials, but also in, for example, wood. This collection, the Smart Wood collection, is a very interesting program because we are using, it's a patent, and the way we can work, so in this way, we can use 40% less wood than with the traditional technology, and because of this technology, we can shape wood vignette as if it was plastic. So the level of comfort and flexibility is unthinkable. Next.
Transparency, a technological turning point, a revolution that Claudio Luti has long pursued, and which today, 15 years later, continues to astonish with the Uncle Jack sofa, the largest polycarbonate piece ever produced industrially. 2 meters long, 95 centimeters high, 30 kilograms in weight. An important achievement for Kartell, the first company in the world able to industrially manufacture an attractive product of this size. The challenge was taken up in 1998 with the La Marie chair, designed as usual by Philippe Starck.
Okay, here, so since you are an industrial designer, you know, I mean, you know the challenge, and now transparency is given, okay? So, but when Philippe Starck and introduced La Marie during Salone del Mobile, was a commercial disaster. A disaster. None of our customers bought the chair. Everybody was afraid. They thought it was too fragile. They thought they won't like it. Now, and here is that magic combination of a designer and an entrepreneur. So Claudio Luti, he really believed in Philippe Starck. He believed in the power of transparency because he thought this is a game changer. So for 4 years, they didn't give up. They keep investing in products, in transparent products. So they kept introducing on the market transparent chairs. La Marie, then the super famous Louis Ghost. I mean, Uncle Jack, Uncle Jim is, you know, they come much later. Now, also here, transparency because we were able to use this incredible material, which is polycarbonate. Now another technological revolution. We are one of the few companies in the world that are using no longer polycarbonate from fossil origin, but a polycarbonate from agricultural vegetable origin. So we are constantly trying to find solutions in order to lower the impact on the environment. Besides the aesthetic aspect, because really, if you think about, we have revolutionized the aesthetic concept, introducing the transparency. Next.
Il carbonio c'è da un sacco di anni, ma con una nuova tecnologia che ci siamo di fatto strutturati e inventati. La sedia a piuma è una sedia di fatto costruita con un composito, però è stampata, quindi è stampata con uno stampo a iniezione molto speciale, con un carico di pressione incredibile per poterlo fare viaggiare dentro in questo stampo. La bellezza è sempre la leggerezza.
Sergio doit d'abord être extrêmement humble et en même temps, il faut qu'elle soit profondément élégante. Et donc, cette rencontre de l'humilité et l'élégance est vraiment quelque chose de très intéressant pour notre vie en général.
Okay, two very interesting products, one by my friend Piero Lissoni and the other one by Philip Stark. So also here, what is important to underline, the capacity of Kartell to have this conversation between designer and technology, okay? And it's important because sometimes we discover the technology and we call our designer, so there's this new material, there's new molding technique, so we can achieve whatever we want, and then they start thinking. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes the designer, they come to us with, I discovered this new material, I discovered this, for example, the carbon fibers from the fishing pole, okay? So, but the fishing pole technology was completely different, so we were able to create this powder to make a chair. This one, this very cool picture is a picture of the biocomponibile, okay? So, for example, with the biomaterial and even the colors are watercolors. So everything this is a product 100% eco-friendly. Next, also because I think I'm going a little too slow. And so here is the new Kartell. This is what Kartell is today. So now we have an idea where we come from, where we are going. So Kartell now is no longer a company of objects. For many years, Kartell was the company of the super iconic object, the La Bourgie Light, the Louis Ghost, the Bubble Club, the biggest outdoor sofa ever produced in the world. So now we are selling, we have a big catalog, and we are selling a lifestyle. So we have tables, chairs, lights. I mean, we have Kartell. Sorry, I forgot. Kartell is the first company that ever started making lights in plastic. So we started the light production, I think, in 72, 73. The first light has been designed by Achille Castiglioni, and then we never, and Joe Ponti also, and then we never got. So lights represent almost 30% of our turnover nowadays. And here in these two tables, then we jump to the next step. So you see how we constantly play with materials, because these tabletops, they're not made of plastic or masses. These are ceramic stoneware, which is a very interesting material with 3D printing to reproduce the different stones. Next. So also here you have a wonderful setting, a lifestyle setting. The sofas are by Kartell, designed by Piero Lissoni. You have a small side table. The Cara is a very nice armchair, super comfortable, indoor, outdoor. So also here it's a different way of living with Kartell. Next. So that's the table that Philip was talking about. So also here we have a tabletop which is made of tempered glass, and in order to obtain these pastel colors, so we have the smoky, the green, the pink. Between the two layers of glass, there is we put the color. So it's a very particular technique. And with the lights also, this is a very nice environment. Could be a dining, could be even for an office setting. Why not? Because nowadays, also one of the reasons why we are extremely successful is because we are somehow a crossover. So this can be a nice office setting. I mean, an elegant meeting table, but of course also your living, dining table. Next. Also here, so we talk about this wood collection. So, from the picture, you can, but you have trained eyes, so you can see that the shape of the wood is incredible. This should be plastic, okay? But because of this technology, we can shape the wood as if it was plastic. And as I said, we are using 40% less of wood, which no matter what is coming from certified forest. And also the production, we can use at least 25% less energy thanks to this technology. And the table, also here, we have this ceramic stoneware, and also the wood, the light is covered with this wood veneer. Next one, please. Smatric, it's a project by Tokujin. So here, for example, we are experimenting the 3D technology in an industrial way. So the input to the designer was think something in 3D, but had to be industrialized using injection mold technology. This was a very challenging project. It took 3 or 4 years to find the solution from a technical point of view. Finally, we made it, and now we have created this collection of chairs, also here for indoor and outdoor use. And here we are playing with different settings. So the familiar setting with the rocket chair and a sort of transactional office mode. Next. Another cool setting. Just your attention on the armchair on the left, the right, the black one. That is a Joe Colombo project. So Joe Colombo designed that chair in the 60s, and back in the days, the technology wasn't there. So we put in production, because Anna Castelli was in love with Joe Colombo, so she put in production this armchair using plywood. It was the only product in the Kartell catalog made of 100% plywood, because they didn't know how to curve the plastic in such a way. Now, I think 10 years ago, we decided to put back in the catalog this product using plastic, which was the original idea of Joe Colombo. His idea was to use plastic, but the technology wasn't there, and now it's back. I mean, the look is very vintage, and trust me, it's super comfortable. I have also one in my house. Next. Outdoor. Why outdoor? Because 80% of the Kartell products are indoor-outdoor. And here we have the catwalk by Philip Stark, and generic A and C also by Philip Stark, and also the table is from Citerio, stoneware, and everything is outdoor. So Kartell, it's one of those catalogs that really you can play with our catalog in a domestic situation, hospitality, residential, corporate. It's really, so we can give, we are the company that give the touch to the situation. Let's put it this way. Next. Venice, this is a cool story. So Venice, Philip Stark is a good friend of, I don't remember if it's one of the daughter or the son of the Cipriani family, the people that own the Florian. So this chair, originally there was a wood chair, more or less with this shape. So Philip Stark asked the Cipriani family if he could replicate this chair, but in a more contemporary way. And then, of course, the Cipriani family said, of course, why not? So we came up with this concept, with this Venice, and that's why we call it the Venice. So Venice is a monoblock polycarbonate chair, and technical detail. So the chair comes out from the mold already shiny, which means that the mold has to be perfect. The finishing of the mold is perfect. So we take the chair from the mold and we put it in the box and ready to go. So, and this is not an easy achievement, and it's very nice, elegant, wide. So it's a very comfortable chair. What's next? The smart trick also here. So we talk about the beauty of that this chair, and there is also the 4 tables by Ferruccio Laviani, and you can see that on the top of the table there is our tabletop collection. So we have a wide variety of accessories. So this in particular has been designed by Patricio Orchiola, but we have also Tokujin. So we have different designs that designed for us tabletop. So basically in our catalog, we have this category of the chairs, tables, sofas, lights, and accessories. Next. As I said, lights is important. I love lights. Also because and especially for you guys, since you are or you will be interior designer, really lights make the difference in an environment. No matter how nice is the house, no matter how beautiful are the furniture, you can kill everything with the wrong lights, with the wrong light temperature. So that's why I love lights. So here there is this is our setting in one of our stores. So in terms of distribution, we have 150 stores worldwide and more or less 2,000 accounts all over the world. So the first one that you see is the Kabuki, also this one designed by Ferruccio Laviani, and also we were able to put in production the Kabuki because we learned how to use the 3D technology in a molding with a molding technology, thanks to the Matrix chair by Tokushin. So it's a constant conversation between us, the designer, and the engineer, and the technology world. Let's put it in this way. Next. And thank you for your attention. So I hope you have some question. I'm here at your disposition.
Great. Thank you, JJJ, for that in-depth look at Kartell. We really appreciate it. Students, we're going to switch over to questions. You can find that Q&A button either at the top or bottom of your screen. Definitely feel free to send those questions in. We're going to try to get through as many as we can in the remaining time. First question that we have is, are these products from early on still available today?
Unfortunately, no. Very few products for many reasons. In some cases, it's sad to say, but we lost the mold, or the mold. I mean, not we lost the mold. The mold broke, and because the molding technology is very expensive. So, and at the end, Kartell is a company, so we have to decide. Okay, it makes sense to re-put in production. I don't know, the kids' chair. I mean, it's cool, but how many are we going to sell? And then you spend $1 million for the mold, and then nobody is going to buy them. So and there is a very florid vintage market of Kartell products.
Absolutely. How would you describe Italian design, and how does it contrast with American design?
So how many houses do we have? Okay, let's. This is my personal opinion. Okay. In Italian design, I would say it's from a creativity point of view is more active. I think historically, think about here in America, you have two great examples, Knoll and Herman Miller. I mean, they put in production masterpiece of the design. Still now, I have in my living room, I have a Herman Miller chair, the hinge chair. I mean, it's a state of the art. Then in around the 50s, 60s, both these two companies, they discovered the cubicles. And they start making cubicles for the office, and they became giants. I mean, $2, $3, $4, $5 billion. But that was a killer from a creativity point of view. They gave up the residential business, and the residential business became very flat. In Italy, in Europe, I have to say, it was exactly the opposite. Nobody cared about the office. The office was a hall where you were spending 8 hours, but the house was the center of everything. So there was a lot of attention on residential. And another aspect that probably, I would say Italy, but Europe, there were more needs and less tools. So we have to think about how to optimize everything, how to optimize the use of plastic, wood. So Europe wasn't as rich as America. So probably this, the need generates more creativity. Now, it's true that now there are incredible designers also here in the States, and the States, for example, what I like of the creativity of States, that States is always willing, open to change the rules. While in Europe, we are a little bit more conservative.
Right. Interesting. Does Kartell have in-house designers as well as collaborating with star designers?
No, in Kartell, we believe in a network. We do have a strong network of designers. So there is a sort of committee, a group of people inside the company that they have a sort of vision, but then is a constant conversation between this board and the different designer. And until now, at the end, who has the final word on the product is our president, Mr. Lutti. So we are it's a sort of oligarchy, family oriented.
Does Kartell provide 2D and 3D objects online for students or designers to use in AutoCAD or Revit drawings?
Yes, we do. If I properly understood, if you go on our webpage, kartell.com, you should be able to download the 2D and 3D files, yes.
Great. Could you elaborate on what makes your current products eco-friendly?
Well, they are eco-friendly, let's say, for many reasons. Even before the introduction of these new materials, if you think about a product properly done, let's say this chair, okay? This is the master chair by Philip Stark, okay? And this one is still manufactured with all the technology, so it's polypropylene, it's not recycled, it's recyclable, but not recycled. So if you properly use this chair, and because of the quality of this chair probably will last 300 years, 500 years. So the footprint of this product is zero. Now we are also introducing materials that, so we are trying to reduce the fossil origin, okay? So we need products with the flexibility and plasticity of plastic, and we are trying to source them using our waste, agricultural waste, plastic waste, whatever we can put together. But because of our quality of standard, we cannot use whatever, okay? But from this point of view, yes, the company is Green Card certified. So if you're not familiar, Green Card is an American entity that has certified Kartell as a Green Card company. So it's not me that I'm saying, yes, we are eco-friendly. So the company is tested as an eco-friendly company.
Great. Is there a specific piece or product that Kartell has produced or currently produces that is a personal favorite of yours, and why?
No, I cannot. Well, yes, there are many products. For example, a product that I like the bougie, the light that you saw in the picture that was gold. I have a crush on lights in general, but that is it's because it's the classic light, but using contemporary material, blah blah blah. Then I like in the Uncle Jack. Uncle Jack is an incredible outdoor sofa, transparent. I have a couple in my backyard, and because it's transparent, when I'm sitting in my living room, the sofa is there, and still I can see the wood that is behind because there is no barrier. And for me, it's a beauty, it's magic, because I like most of the Kartell products because they are magic. There is something, there is a touch that makes the difference. That's, I'm really in love with this company.
Absolutely, there are so many good ones. Today, universal design or all-inclusive design is being appreciated highly. Are there any products or design strategies to address that?
For sure. I mean, it's one of, as I said, we are Italian, so we tend to be conservative. But even the company, for example, this new generation, even the company, we have a president, their kids, I mean, I call them kids, but they're 40 years old. They're working in the company as a sales director, marketing director. There is a board, so we have people from different fields, from artists, not necessarily interior designers. So there is, as I said, there's a constant conversation. Now, how this translates into products and way of working, it's a slow process, for sure, but it's happening.
Great. Well, we're just about out of time, but I do have one last question. Any final words of advice or wisdom for the students tuning in today?
Well, the advice is try not to be study. I mean, by study, I'm the last one because I never finished my college course, so I'm a horrible example for you guys. So don't follow my path. But what I really is my advice is to try to be as knowledgeable as possible. So keep your mind open in terms of technology, history. Because this is good is going to make a huge difference. To be not multitasking, okay? Because I'm not saying multitasking, but you have to know what's going on in terms of new technology. But you have to know what has been designed in the past. So sometimes go to a museum, visit the art gallery, read more books, forget about Facebook, do these old-fashioned things and stay in touch with the world because it's important. This will be your background and really makes it. So let's say, try to have a more humanistic approach because humanism, I don't know how to say it in English, is coming back.
Absolutely. Great advice. Well, JJ, I want to say another huge thank you for taking the time to come on and share this knowledge with the students. Students, thank you so much for joining us today.